It's sentencing day for the former leader of the Proud Boys, Miami's Enrique Tarrio. Tarrio was convicted of seditious conspiracy in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
CBS News Miami's Skylar Henry is live for us on Washington, D.C. with what happened this afternoon in federal court. And Skylar, Tarrio getting the longest sentence of anybody in such cases. Why did the judge feel that that was appropriate here?
Jim and Lauren, good to be with the both of you. 22 years in prison is what the judge handed down to Enrique Tarrio, and that's because, based off of the evidence, he was widely viewed as the leader of what happened on January 6th, 2021. Now, we heard from both prosecutors and the defense earlier today inside of that courtroom as they both tried to make one final case as to why, to justify both sides of their cases, with prosecutors ultimately saying that even though Tarrio was not in Washington, D.C. that day because he had been forced to stay away from the city for burning a Black Lives Matter flag a few days prior, he still was heavily involved in what happened and all of the logistics, coordinating most of it at a nearby hotel. Now, what we also know, as you mentioned, Jim, this is absolutely one of the longest sentence for anyone tied to what happened on January 6th. That's longer than Stewart Rhodes, the Oath Keepers leader that was sentenced 4 years longer than what that was. And it's also longer than Tarrio's fellow co-conspirators who were sentenced by this same judge to 17, 18, 15, even 10 years in prison as well. So a lot of back and forth inside of that courtroom today. The defense argues that because Tarrio was not there, he should have received a shorter sentence. They also feel as if former President Donald Trump should receive more of the blame for what happened in this case. But again, 22 years for Enrique Tarrio as he was sentenced this afternoon, maybe about 15 minutes ago inside of that courtroom.
And Skylar, just very quickly before we run out of time, as far as Enrique Tarrio's reaction, any remorse as he faced his sentencing today?
Yeah, well, based off of notes inside of the courtroom, he absolutely appeared apologetic. He said that this isn't what he wanted, but the judge quickly countered that, saying that ultimately what happened on January 6th was something that was well planned, well thought out, and that Tarrio knew what he was doing, ultimately saying that the founding fathers never wanted what ultimately happened on January 6th. It's not in the Constitution. It's not what leaders ultimately said that they wanted. And they went on to say that this has done irreparable damage to this process of the peaceful transfer of power. And so that is why we saw that 22 years sentence earlier today.
All right, Skylar Henry live for us in Washington, D.C. tonight. Thank you.